Good afternoon. I'm going to try to keep this video as brief as possible. This toolbox restoration is, I'm calling it finished. It was a bit of a challenge. I'll be totally honest. The main problem was when I brought it home. It was really dirty, and it was so dirty that it didn't even. It was I didn't realize how dirty it was until I started cleaning it, and the dirt really hid a lot of issues. The main issue, without a doubt, was the rust on the base, the bottom of the box. It was 3/4 rusted out, and not just surface rust. There was some pretty decent pitting. Thankfully, the box is a much heavier gauge steel than a typical toolbox would be. I want to say that this box, I'm almost positive this box was meant to be attached to a base unit. So it's quite heavy. The drawers are very heavy steel, and so is the actual physical box, which is why it was so heavy, obviously. But I spent, it was several hours. Even after I cleaned the box, took the drawers apart. I vacuumed it out first, I should say. Then I cleaned the box with soap, like your typical dish soap, a scrub brush. Then I took the drawers out, did the same exact thing. Cleaned each drawer individually. I removed these these decorative little pieces here. I vacuumed out the interior, or scrubbed down the interior of the box again. And that was when I really started noticing the issues, as more and more grime was coming off of it. And the base was bad. And it was several hours of work to get the rust removed, and not counting the several. I let it soak in rust remover for more than a full day. I WD-40. I had your typical the evapo rust, or vapo rust, if you want to call it that. And that did help, but it was just a lot of sanding and grinding, and using the wire drill bits, the whole 9 yards. But thankfully, as I said, the box, the gauge of the steel is heavy, and there was a dent in the bottom. I was able to tap that out with a mallet. It came out easily enough. There was also a dent in the lid. If you could see there, it's still there a little. I got most of that out. It's still, sorry about that. It's still a little ding, but nothing I'm concerned with. One of the drawers had one of the drawers that was loose when I brought it home. That was dinged up a little bit. That actually was a bit of a pain to get it straight. There was this second drawer here, the second large drawer. It was right back in here. You just, with my finger maybe, you could still see right next to this little catch. It was really bent pretty good, and I'm wondering if that's what knocked it off of the track. I don't know. And a couple of the tracks were bent, but they were really easy to fix, thankfully. But the drawers were in really good shape otherwise. This drawer here, there was a little bit of rust back there that came off easily enough. It was all surface rust. This drawer here, which is, I do have one of the liners, and I do have the rest of the liners. They're not all installed yet. These were left over from the other toolbox. I had a couple pieces left, so I used them. This drawer had the same issue. A little bit of rust back in that corner, but that easily came out. This drawer was already in good shape to begin with. And the rest of the drawers, aside from this bottom drawer here, this is also lined, as you can see. This bottom drawer had a good bit of rust along the back. It almost seemed like something spilled in it. But thankfully, it was all this surface rust that I put some WD-40 in there, and I sort of scrubbed it in and let it set for 2 days, and it wiped right off. For the most part, there was a little bit of elbow grease involved. But yeah, the bottom and the back were pretty bad. And there were stickers all over the back that I didn't even see until I got it home. There were stickers on the front as well, and they were a real pain to get off. The stickers came off easily enough. The residue was a real pain in the neck. And don't put stickers on your toolbox. Use magnets. If you want to put decorative elements, if you want to put charts and stuff, get magnetic ones. Putting stickers on there is just, it looks like they wear out. They look like heck. Just don't do it. Here's the top compartment. It's not lined yet, but that turned out really well. There was some rust back here, and I do have a liner in that one, and a liner on this one. But it turned out really, really nice for what it is. It's hardly a perfect restoration, but it looks pretty good. There's no major issues. The paint went on nice and smooth. Speaking of that, I brought this chain out for a reason. I used this. The drawers are just painted with the gloss black that I had left over from the prior toolbox. The rest of the case is painted with this Rust-Oleum hammered black. I got it. It has a very, very slight texture to it. I got it because it supposedly, here, if you can read that, it hides surface imperfections. And I was very impressed with it. It looks really good. It looks, I'm not going to say it looks like factory new. Let's not kid ourselves, but it does look really nice. If I saw this box for sale at a yard sale, whatever, I would expect the people would want pretty good money for it. So I'm glad it's over. It was a lot of work. There were some holes over here that I was able to get filled in. You could probably see them a little, but I filled them in when I put the first coat of paint on. They were still a little bit too prominent. So I did fill them in again with another coat of epoxy, lightly sanded it off, and then painted again, and that really masked them pretty nicely. They're not, once again, they're not invisible, but they are. You're not going to notice them offhand. You have to do a little bit of an inspection to see them. The lid closes nice and easily now. I was able to get the keys online as well. I paid $10 for two keys, so it does lock. All the drawers lock, so on and so forth. So yeah, I'm pretty happy with the end result here. I did write a blog post about it. It's not up yet, but I will put it up hopefully tonight. But I just talked about a few of the things I'm talking about on the video. But this box, I was able to, my mom was able to tell me that it was purchased in roughly November of 2002. And it was a birthday gift. So the box is just over 20 years old, going on 21 years old. It probably wasn't, it could have been better taken care of. Let's just put it that way. Jack was not the type of guy who, he didn't, I don't want to say he didn't take care of his tools. He did, but he didn't think anything special of them. Let's put it that way. They were tools. They were there to be used and abused if necessary. And he felt the same way about his toolboxes, I'm guessing. It wasn't this toolbox was not like a treasure chest to him. It was just a box to hold his tools. And to put this, I'm the exact opposite in that regard. I'm a little bit too, I'm a little bit too careful probably. And I've always been that way. Growing up, I didn't have stuff like this, not really. So as I got older and I got into the building trades, and I was, I worked in a print shop for years. I was an electrician. Tools became almost precious to me, in the sense that I felt almost a responsibility to care for them. I'm here just to, as I said, to put this in perspective. I purchased this tool cart here in I think it was, I want to say it was February of 2004, it would have been, because we were redoing that. We're gutting the basement of our house, and I didn't have a workbench, not a real one at least. I had the people who owned the house before us, they had a half-assed bench in here. It was garbage, and I removed that actually shortly after we were finished with the downstairs renovation. But this start here I've had for 19 years, and it looks, not to brag, but it looks pretty new. And except for the top is not the original top. I did replace that, but otherwise the box is in really good shape. And compare it to what I brought, when I brought home, this box was in rough shape. That's just, to put it nicely. And I'm not, don't think that this is me. This is not a knock. This is not a way to, and I'm not insulting anybody's memory or anything. Me and Jack got along great. We've known each other for a long time. We were great friends. And, but it's just a really, I'm pointing out different philosophies. And to me, I'm a big firm believer in taking care of your things, and not even your tools, which you're going to use and abuse throughout your life. I believe in taking care of them as well as you possibly can. Some people don't, but something like this toolbox, it was an expensive toolbox even then, and now a similar box from Craftsman, they're running $300 to $400. To me, that's a lot of money. Some people maybe, but to me, that's a lot of money for a toolbox. This is something that really should have been able to be. But my point being, you should be able to pass things down like this. As when you get older and you don't need it anymore, or we all die. So one day you're going to die. You should be able to leave this to your family, somebody in your family, and it shouldn't really need. I'm hoping that whoever gets this after me, they don't need to do anything to it, other than maybe wipe a little bit of dust off of it. They shouldn't have to clean off rust or repaint it or anything like that. I just like the box I just showed you, the cart I just showed you over there, that it's 20 years old and it looks pretty new. I hope 20 years from now, if I'm still around, or if I'm not, if I have grandkids, they can have it. Maybe if I have a son-in-law, whatever, he can have it. That's what I want for my stuff. So yeah, I'm not trying to give you a public service message here, but just try to take care of your things. Stuff like this, it might not seem important, but it could be one day. Maybe it will not mean anything to you now, but maybe later on you'll sort of understand what I'm talking about. But regardless, thanks for watching along with this. If you were watching other videos, as I said, it was a challenge, but I'm glad it's finished, and I'm glad the box is looking pretty good again. I'm not going to tip myself and tell you it looks great, but it looks brand new and all that, but it does look much better. So thanks. Have a great night, and I hope I get some more videos up soon. Bye bye.